Okay. We are live, sir.
Hey, how are you today?
I could use a nap.
By the time we get to Friday, I'm pretty worn out.
Yeah, I've got a call at 1 right after this, but I may actually seek
You're waking me on. Come on.
a little 1 hour nap over there this afternoon, but we'll see what happens. How about you? What's happening?
I got a call at 1 too, and then I got to go take care of a bunch of stuff. So I don't see a nap in my future, but I sure.
I've got an interview at 5:30, but that's enough time to get an hour in. So
Yeah, and that's the perfect amount because
Yeah.
you don't want to do too much. Otherwise, you start settling in and you don't want to get up.
Yeah, last weekend I took a nap. I guess it was Saturday afternoon. I set the alarm for 1 hour, and 3 hours later, I was still struggling to get out of the bed. So
Yeah, I hate that when it's like 4:30 or something, and I'm just trying to like read something, and I start nodding off in the middle of it. And I'm like, wake up! You can't take a nap now.
That's brutal.
I know.
So what's going on, man? Well, listen, looks like we'll touch quickly on Ukraine, but probably not spend a shit ton of time on it today since we've spent so much time on it the last couple of days. But looks like some resistance happening. Looks like they're trying to fight them off. They'll take the capital most likely. Did you see the video? Yeah, you saw the video of the woman telling the Russian soldier to take the sunflower seeds from her and put them in his pocket so that at least when he's dead laying in the grass, that the sunflowers will grow from him. And the sunflower is the national flower. That woman's my hero, man.
I like that too. I thought that was pretty cool. And then also that I saw something about, the Ukrainians to put a missile strike on a Russian air base in Rostov Oblast. And
I didn't see that. Awesome.
3 or 4 of the latest generation MiGs. I think it's called I think I saw somebody say the Felon, but I don't know. That's just too much of an appropriate name for the Russians. But it must be something else. And I saw the one on Snake Island where those 13 or 14 Ukrainian Navy officers told the Russians to fuck off, and then they ended up all dead. But they didn't surrender. But
I think, I read this analysis by ex-general that's a CNN analyst. Anyway, he was talking about, yes, the resources and might of the Russian army are incredibly strong, but the will of the Ukrainians is far stronger, and that's one of those intangible things that wins wars. And he talked about the fact that the Russian army, almost all of them, have less than 1 year of service. They're 1 year conscripts, and that their equipment for the most part is pretty crappy and shitty made stuff because it's Russian. I think it gives a bit of hope that they can draw this out until they can get some more help. I'm cautiously optimistic. I feel horrible about how many people have been killed. The Russians are now trying to claim that the Ukrainians are hiding military equipment in civilian areas,
of course,
to give themselves a front for blowing up and killing civilians and terrorizing them, which is really, this is basically a terrorist operation. And so, I'm hopeful. I've started to kind of lean to the point that I don't know if, as I believe, if you accept the fact that I don't think Russia's going to stop with Ukraine. Putin wants to stop with Ukraine. I think he wants it all back. We're going to end up having to engage with these people at one point or another.
Well, yeah, if they definitely cross into any NATO country, then it triggers Article 5, and then we are in the game at that point.
Right. But the question is, do you wait until they have the win in the Ukraine, or do you start annihilating them in the field now?
Well, I think
strategically, I don't mean politically, public appreciation or anything else. I mean military strategy.
I don't know if you. Well, look, you know what it means if we do that. Then it's going to be full game on, and where does that go?
Yep.
I kind of like this. This is a hard thing to say, but I think Ukrainians win an insurgency here. I think the Ukrainian units are more disciplined than the Russians. I think the Russians have more. I think the Ukrainians will win this in the end. And I think NATO, US, that we're going to arm the shit out of them. And we already have been. And that we will support them in other ways, that aren't overt ways where Russia can retaliate against, say, another NATO country. So
Right.
I think we have to be really careful here, as difficult as it is to do that, because, or go like we said yesterday, do some other stuff, flank them in the Arctic,
Yep.
Sakhalin Peninsula, start hitting those pipelines,
Yep.
and sabotage them in ways that, hey, we did. I don't know how that happened.
I know nothing.
You guys need to do better, man. You guys can't even protect your own pipelines. What the hell? Stuff like that. Syria as well. That Tartus base, you could just take that off the map.
Yep.
And, just go after their private military contractors in the field. Stuff like that where it doesn't play into an escalation, but at the same time, and I'd also take that damn bridge out that the Russians built between Russia proper and the other one down by Crimea. They built the Kerch Bridge or Kerch Strait or something, whatever that strait is. I think it's the Sea of Azov or something. I would take that out too because they're moving supplies across that. But again, how'd that happen? And start sinking ships in the Black Sea.
Yeah. No, it's good. I agree. And Chuck said you want to support Ukraine for a long time and bleed the Russians out, make it another Afghanistan for them. And I philosophically agree with that. Unfortunately, it also means, thousands of dead, innocent Ukrainians. So anyway.
Well, look, if we escalated, to your point, and started going head to head with them now, they're just going to unleash more missile barrages on Kyiv and places like that, and they're just going to shell the shit out of everything like they did in Chechnya and just level it all. So there'll probably be a lot more dead Ukrainians at that point. Yep. I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating. Yeah. But this guy doesn't seem very rational. One of the things in sort of the Cold War era, you always assumed the other opponent was rational and that they'd make decisions best that serve their interest first and foremost. And this guy's not doing that. He's playing a very irrational game. There's a lot of speculation that, he's, I don't want to say off his meds, but that he's, fucking crazy at this point. And so at that point, I kind of think, we just got to think through everything a little bit. Because we don't want him just saying, all right, fuck it, and nuking Paris or something like that.
Yep.
From Kaliningrad, because they have intermediate range nuclear missiles sitting there right now. They can hit any European city, let alone doing something to the U.S. I mean, because then what's going to happen after that? It's just going to be, go hide in the fucking sewer somewhere because it's all over.
Yep. So if you want to help out, Pussy Riot founder and Trippy Labs and Pleaser DAO have launched Ukraine DAO at Ukraine_DAO. So if you'd like to help out the Ukrainian people, they are raising funds to help them out. So I might send some of that surprise ETH I got in my wallet today that way, Joe, just to make myself at least feel like I'm doing something. So
there you go. Stuff. Plus Pussy Riot, you gotta love that band. Those are just some badass girls.
I mean, you think about what they did to themselves. They
went to jail for a couple of years, didn't they?
Exactly. Yeah, they were in prison, man. Yeah. They were in prison, and that's the other thing is the Russians. 1,700 people arrested yesterday protesting the war. And those people probably won't see the light of day for a very long time, which going into that you are. And I got to tell you, when I think about those kinds of things, I think about what people are willing to do. Those guys on the island. I wish. I feel like the United States may have lost our way in some respects in terms of that, because I don't know how comfortable even that I would be saying fuck off to a ship about to blow up the island I'm on. So,
well, that's sort of, I don't want to use the wrong descriptive word, but as we know, in Eastern Europe from top to bottom, it's, those guys are, they react fast with words.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they always follow up with physical action, but, they're the first ones to say fuck off. And
exactly.
So I respect it. You are protecting your country. But what's interesting is that island was actually really a Romanian island that there was a treaty between Ukraine and Romania over it. And basically Romania got all the water and all the area around the island as their territory. And then Ukraine kept the island because it was taken from the Romanians by the Soviet Union many years ago. So a lot of people are saying, well, shit, is that an attack on Romania?
Yep.
And Romania is a NATO member. So,
oh, shit.
So that would be interesting.
All right. So off Ukraine. Found this cool project yesterday, and I should be giving a hat tip to whomever I got the link from, but I have no friggin' clue. But Apollo Inu, off on the meme coin branding, but this is not really a meme coin. It's actually a really cool concept. So there's some tokenomics around it. I'm not going to get into a lot of the details, but the basic idea is that there is a governance system set up whereby new creators or existing creators can be rewarded by the community of Apollo Inu for creating great content. And the concept is that every week there's a contest and creators submit themselves as potential recipients, and the community votes and decides who gets the percentage of invested funds returns that week. So really cool way to kind of help creators get off the ground, buy equipment, actually, pay their bills. So cool concept. There's a reward system that pays back holders and stakers and the whole bit. I haven't climbed into all the details of it, but it's called Apollo Inu, APOLLO -INU. Now, where's the website address? I don't know. That sucks. I'll post this link though to the GitHub in where he has done a lot of detail on how to function, what it works, how it works, all that.
Okay. Website is apolloinutoken.com.
Apollo Inu Token, APOLLOINUTOKEN.com.
Yep.
Is it the real one? Yeah, that's it. Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah. So cool concept. And it's something that's needed in the space. Creators can make a lot of money if they're highly successful, but a lot of folks don't. And so I think it's a great way to try to figure out a way to make sure that creators are rewarded. Now, I don't know anything about this project. This is not financial advice. This could be a total rug. Have no concept whether or not this is a completely legitimate project, but I definitely I love the concept. So
wow.
take your time and check it out in Discord, etc.
Well, over the last 24 hours, it's up 84% in volume, and the fully diluted market cap's up 86% in the last 24 hours. So
what's the market cap at right now?
140 million. Fully diluted though. So yeah, max supply is 2 trillion tokens. So that's why it's so high of a market cap.
But still.
The price is like 4 zeros and a 7172. So it's definitely, you can get a lot for a little.
Yeah.
But I like the whole creative thing, I mean, why not?
I really like the concept. So, and look, I think we need more of this kind of stuff. I think this shows the power of DAOs to help change the world. So, this will also be posted in the show notes. But this is a really great analysis of Avalanche. Some of the stuff I knew, some of the stuff I didn't. It's a tweet thread that kind of really talks about how the system functions, why it's valuable, what the team is like. So I'm going to run through a couple of quick things. They talk about in the first couple of threads about the performance, why it functions so well, how it functions as a proof of stake, has fewer nodes than Ethereum, consensus mechanisms for voting, all kinds of cool functionality within it. And he has an image that maps that out. Then the team, they've got a head count of 100 plus people at the Avalanche Foundation.
Wow.
40 plus engineers, and the founders, which I hadn't known this, are from Cornell. I knew that Amin, the founder, was a professor. I just didn't realize that the 3 top founders of the project were all from Cornell. And I will tell you this: I was not a fan of Avalanche just because of his personality at the beginning, but I have seen that they have really done a great job of starting to try to decentralize the functions of the blockchain. It's powerful, it's fast. I think there's a design approach that has spread through the community for how the interfaces are done in the network, and so that to me is really impressive. Goes into some of the details. Now, the one thing I wanted to talk about is that I find fascinating is that there's an Avalanche, the network, but there are chains off of that network. So there's Exchange, which is for trading token and assets, P-Chain, which is for creating subnets and staking, and C-Chain, which is for creating smart contracts. The cool thing about Avalanche is that anyone can create their own chain off of the main network. So you can essentially launch, and I saw an article the other day showing you could launch a chain there in about 15 minutes using the command line. Now, what is involved in managing and building and launching a whole chain? Who the fuck knows? But it's a really cool concept to me, the idea of being able to launch a chain with its own gas system, its own token system, its own way of managing and handling performance, to me is a really cool concept. And he makes the point here that there is an opportunity for that with private chains, right? So for supply chain, enterprise applications, that kind of thing, that also has a ton of potential. I have no idea if they're pursuing that, but anyway. Talks about some of the projects in the ecosystem, talks about the tokenomics for AVAX itself. Tokens used to pay for transaction fees are burnt. So it obviously has a deflationary aspect to it, which I was not aware of. Hard cap of 720 million tokens, approximately 35% in circulation today. Staking rewards are about 9.2% annualized right now. So in about the same league for staking as Ethereum, maybe a slightly better, but I am more and more impressed with Avalanche, how it's functioning, what it does, its performance levels. And I think Amin, the founder, has chilled out a little bit on his aggressive behavior. I heard him on an interview on Bankless the other day and was impressed with kind of how he was speaking in his approach. So
growing up a little,
I think.
There you go.
Yeah, the whole world is not your enemy. So saw this article. I found this interesting, and I made a little bit of fun with them on a tweet. But this is a mortgage company launching crypto-backed mortgages with a focus initially on Bitcoin, which, I love to see it. I love the idea of people utilizing crypto to do transactions in the traditional financial consumer world. So to me, that's awesome to see. But I'm a little concerned about a company that launches a product like this and says that they're moving on to other cryptocurrencies that didn't take a look at fucking Alchemix. It's like, so people are going to borrow against their Bitcoin to buy a house. They can be liquidated. So if they're not keeping track of the price of Bitcoin, they could lose their house and be totally fucked. And sitting there is this awesome platform that does everything and makes their model so much superior in what they're offering to the market than what they're currently offering. So I have a little concern about a company that didn't actually do the research, and say what other real estate mortgage lending protocols are out there. How could we make use of them? Now, maybe from an MVP perspective, they're doing all this manually. And so it's not a dApp of any kind because it's Bitcoin initially. So it's just, hey, deposit your Bitcoin with our custody provider. We're going to give you X based on current price, blah, blah, blah. And so they're just trying to test the waters with it. Maybe they're not, maybe they plan to automate more of this later on. And that's something they'll look at. Well, but so I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. My question was, because of course I thought about Alchemix right away, was I saw stuff that they said, if the price of Bitcoin drops, you could just add more Bitcoin. So I wasn't quite sure. It's not like you put 20% down on the price or 30% down in Bitcoin and then they finance the rest. Don't you still have to put like the whole amount of Bitcoin in there?
Well, I would assume you have to put in enough to cover the entire amount of the mortgage you're paying. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like going to a bank and putting 30% down and getting a
No,
mortgage. So,
no.
so if you're going to do that, then I just say go to Alchemix, because look, you go park your $1 million of BTC in Alchemix, and they give you the loan for 800,000. But
ETH or the
Hmm?
WBTC coming later.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, ETH. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get your loan for 800 grand. Then you take that to go buy your house.
Yeah.
Well, here's the beauty of it. Alchemix pays that loan off for you, because they take your $1 million and they're parking it in yield farms and doing all this other stuff. So, still you got to put the whole amount up, but then you can borrow on it. Now, if Bitcoin goes down in price to zero, let's say, you don't pay the loan back.
Yep.
And you still got the house.
Exactly.
So this model worries me, because I think that you can lose the house too. If you put your $1 million in ETH in or BTC, then it goes to zero, let's say, and then not only do you still owe them whatever you borrowed on the mortgage, but you could have the house foreclosed on. Well, the Alchemix model, you can't, because it's not tied to the house value. So I think it's like you said, it's a great, cool thing, because I like that it's giving options to people to do things, and there's a better play out for the U.S. market, I think, than what these guys are doing. But hey, it's a start.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's willing to do it. That's the awesome thing.
And I saw somebody that was buying stuff with crypto. See, the other thing is, okay, here's my.
They are Miami based, by the way.
Okay, look, then why go if I don't get why you need the collateral of both. So why put the $1 million down? Why not just convert the BTC to cash and buy the house and have no mortgage?
You could do that, but then you don't have your BTC anymore. I think the idea is I want to keep my BTC and have a loan to buy the house, right? I don't want to give up my BTC. No, and you don't have to go through credit approvals. There's no credit scores or anything like that.
But you're really giving double collateral too, because you're giving the collateral of the BTC plus the collateral of the house.
Yeah. Okay. I'm reading. Here's the bullets on it. Crypto wealth qualifies you, not tax returns or FICO score. Low bank interest rates, no high hard dollar rates here. Finance 100% of the purchase, no down payment needed. Milo is a direct lender license, blah, blah, blah. Income taxes are not triggered by the transaction. Add or withdraw pledged crypto to adjust your rate. So the rate of the mortgage is based on the amount of deposited crypto. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe if you come in with twice the price, you get the lowest rate. So if you're buying them, I'm just using round numbers, but if you're buying that $1 million house, you probably get a better rate if you put $2 million up toward it, which again just makes me think. I mean, I guess you still can deduct the interest on the note. I mean, I presume you're paying interest to them for it.
Yeah.
But that's capped at, I think, all in for state and local taxes and everything else. I think that's capped at $10K still. So
Chuck says selling the BTC looks like a capital gain. Yeah, I don't think they're actually selling it.
I think you're posting it, staking it.
Yeah, you're just depositing it.
Yeah. So
they said, what's the minimum amount to be eligible for a crypto mortgage? The minimum amount is the total purchase price of your property. So they're not even giving you
an LTV.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a couple of.
You okay there, Joe?
No, I was just looking at the comments. We got in here too. I was just trying to figure out what it was. Okay.
So further, it's real estate day for me, I guess. This is interesting. A company called Vesta Equity has launched a global home equity marketplace. So the idea is I think, and I probably should have done a little more research before this, but I haven't had time today. Essentially, it's a way for homeowners to access their home equity, but they are fractionalizing that equity as NFTs to investors in a marketplace, right? So I don't know if it's necessarily lending or if it sounds to me like they're just selling fractional pieces of it. And then when they sell their home, the person holding that fraction gets a cut of the sale of the home.
That's what I think too. It sounds like, did you say it was NFT? I was looking at this other article.
Yeah, it's NFT based. So your ownership is represented as an NFT. Your fractional ownership in the home is represented as an NFT.
Yeah.
Looks like they're doing a nice job on the interface. It's a great way for people who want to invest in real estate to spread their risk out, right? You could be in like 100 different cities, 100 different types of demographics and home types. So you could strategically invest and spread your risk out. I think this is a promising concept for people that want to get into real estate, but don't want the hassles of buying properties
or
outright.
Can't purchase an entire property.
Right. Yeah. You could start small, put in a little piece, take a little piece of a home that you think will have more value later, like any fucking house in Miami, basically. And then the people that own their properties can get equity out, but they're not paying a loan off, right? So they get the cash. Yeah, that's how it works. So the beauty of it is you can sell a tenth of your home equity value, whatever the current value is now, get the cash today, and not have to pay off a mortgage around it, right? It's not a home equity loan. You just keep the money, and that person now owns a tenth of your home.
Yeah, Chuck, what we're the analog I was trying to get to. Yeah, sure. You sell the BTC to buy the house.
Oh yeah.
You trigger that, but that's why Alchemix is so much better because you don't do that either.
Yeah, you don't
just
sell
get a loan that you don't,
and you don't make payments, and there's no interest, and so you get all your money back.
There was something I was thinking about. There was an NFT sale. Propi did something because I heard about this when I was talking to those Salvadorans in Tampa, and they advertised this big thing about an NFT of a house, the first real estate transaction. And then, of course, I looked at it. It was like a 2-bedroom rancher in Tampa, and it went for $648,000. And it's just not worth that. And so it turns out the buyer turned out in the end, after all these people were supposedly bidding on it, was somebody named Amanda from the U.S. that nobody would identify the last name on. So I started looking at it, and I figured, this is a FinCEN issue too, because you have to do KYC on these plays. You cannot just have anybody bid. So it looked to me like they got spooked, for doing it. And then it was a fictitious transaction that somebody just made up because we were all talking about it. It just didn't make sense. So
yeah,
the real estate and crypto, I saw another article about a building being bought downtown with crypto. You got to be super careful on that.
Because I got to tell you, this concept to me looks really powerful.
The fractionalization?
I think this is a really brilliant way for homeowners to get cash now if they need it, for investors to get a piece of properties all over the place and diversify their portfolio, get started with less. I did note that it requires you to be an accredited investor.
You did see that?
Yeah, yes. I saw that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is a really cool model.
I was involved in a project 12 years ago that was doing fractionalized sales of commercial real estate, so big buildings, but it was equity based. So,
right.
They were essentially tokenizing buildings before we called it tokenizing, and then selling shards of each building. Like you wanted to buy a piece of, the Chrysler building, for example, you could go buy $20 worth of the building.
Right.
So this is a concept that a lot of people have been talking about for a long time. And I think that the failure to implement was always because you didn't have crypto.
Right.
So to me, crypto and you didn't have NFTs can do that now where it couldn't be done before, just too cumbersome.
Yeah.
So, because most commercial buildings, as it's super high net worth people in there, slinging in 50 million, 10 million. There aren't like people doing $20.
Yep.
Or $1 million, let's say. So this is something that I think gets that velocity of capital going, allows people to access capital without having to go to the bank. I mean, people still get denied loans, home equity loans, even if they have equity based upon, I think a credit score issue or something like that. When in reality, they should just get it.
Yep.
Because if they have the asset base and the collateral, why not? So to me, this is something that's a good thing.
Oh, it looks like it's on Algorand. This is interesting.
Oh.
It says set up your algo wallet. So they've got a couple of example listings up. It doesn't look like they're live yet. But here's a kind of an example to give you a feel for it though. This is in Coral Springs, Florida. So it's a 2-bedroom condo currently worth $127,500. They're offering up 49% of the equity. So for $62,475. So, pretty cool concept to be able to take a piece of that. The owners to get a big chunk of cash out of it, still own majority of their property. I think this is a really cool model. I really like this a lot. You there, Joe?
Yeah. No, I'm.
Say yeah, Brad. You're
I,
right.
yeah. No, I like it too. I was just thinking through some of the issues on.
They have
Okay, so
they
you
have a
take.
projected value forecast.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's going up.
Yeah, of course.
I,
Well, it's funny that they show it up through August of 2024, and then they show a drop off in February of 2025. That's interesting.
maybe that's still 3 years out. So I was thinking maybe upward interest rate cycle, but that shouldn't really affect valuation too much unless people start selling.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I don't know about Coral Springs. I mean, I don't think there's any condos around here selling for $120,000, but
No.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm
me
just
too.
curious about if people come in with the money and you give up 49%. I would just like to see the sort of the terms on both sides of that transaction. Like
Sure.
because they're not paying them anything. It's not a financing, it's an equity sale.
Yep.
And
I assume they're doing
then-
something with title.
then that
What I
is-
suspect is Vesta Equity creates an LLC, owns
Yeah.
that property, and then you're one of the members that, as the homeowner, you own still 51% of that LLC, and then the new investors come in and buy membership.
And that is a taxable event too to the
Ah.
homeowner
Yeah,
So-
of course.
because you're selling part of it. It's not
Yep.
a loan.
Yep.
Huh.
It'd be interesting to see how. Well, maybe they tell how they do it. You're right, though. That would be a taxable event to sell it to another owner.
And I wonder what rights they have in regards to, I mean, I guess you said if it's an LLC, membership interest, I'm just wondering if that buyer of the 49% has what rights they have in any transaction as far as vetoing, approving, driving, forcing, stuff like that. Because
Yeah.
in equities or LLCs, typically if you have 10% or more, you have a lot of rights that, you can use against, say, the other person who owns 90%. If you play it right and use lawyers to basically have a lot of influence. But look, the premise is great. I like that. Anything that gets capital in people's hands faster.
It looks like my idea that they were going to put in an LLC is not the way it does it, because they actually talk about here. They must just have some kind of like legal, a lien's not the right word, but they must establish some kind of, there would be a taxable event for the equity, for the money you receive for the equity, obviously, but it doesn't look like you're selling the property to an LLC or anything, because it talks here about you get to list the property yourself like you normally would, blah, 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 when you're going to sell it. So
I wonder if you have a part, one of the things about in Miami is property taxes. So very high.
Right.
And so I'm wondering, does that person that has the 49%, are they now responsible for 49% of the taxes and upkeep on the property?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
So lots of stuff to think through, but hey, in principle, I'm glad to see first movers doing something here.
Cool concept for anybody that wants to check it out. I know we do have some Dennis and some other folks out there are big real estate investors. It's VestaEquity.net. VestaEquity.net. Take a look. Give us your thoughts, some of your comments in Twitter DMs or whatever, or on the next show. Let us know what you think, and if you know of other things that are similar to that. Joe, that's all I have on my list for today. What do you got?
Really? Oh,
Yep.
What do we got? So we got I'm going to probably want to kill off in like 10, 15 minutes just so I can get ready for that next call. But
Sure.
Let me swap screens up here. I thought this was interesting. Compass Financial Technologies, Swiss index provider, has launched a new product tracking 10 DeFi tokens. And I was going through, it looks like Uniswap, Aave, Sushi, Loopring, Yearn, Compound, Maker, SNX, 1inch, I know, Perp. Just trying, remember we talked to those index guys in Stockholm?
Yeah.
That's another one. If anybody's interested in index guys, these guys have been raising money. In Europe, the rules are a lot easier. and they're coming out of Nordbank.
Okay.
I want to say Jacob Vintner or something like that, but super smart guy. So this is some, you want to get some DeFi exposure. You see here come these index funds where you can get baskets of stuff in this, writing one check or funding one BTC or whatever.
Right.
So this is kind of, an easy way for normies and TradeFi people to say, oh, I want to allocate into DeFi. Let's throw some in this index. That's always a good thing to me because we talked a lot to those guys about doing an index for one of the funds so that you can benchmark performance against an index. How in like US markets, it's always benchmarked against the S&P 500. And as long as you beat S&P 500, you win as the fund manager. If you come in under it, you probably get it taken away from you. So you need these indexes because also a lot of the funds are structured as say, 20% of the upside over some cap or something that exceeds an index. And so you have a neutral index on there to sort of benchmark your performance against. So more, good, positive news in kind of TradeFi land. I was also kind of surprised about, I sort of missed this one yesterday too. I just haven't been looking, but I think it was after I picked my daughter up from school and was hanging out, waiting for her to get ready for the next thing because this looks like 2 to 3. But a nice big move in both ETH and BTC.
Yeah, we're looking good today.
ETH's up 11% right now. BTC's up 9%. Both had big moves here yesterday around 2 to 3 U.S. East Coast time. So I was pleasantly surprised by that, which makes me feel good. I did see that the global indexes, everything was up. I mean, even the Russian one rebounded. I think MOEX is their dollar-denominated index. That rebounded 20% today. So, obviously a bailout's happening. But, look at like S&P 500, up 2 points. Dow, up 2. NASDAQ, 1.3. NYSE Composite, 2 points. Amex Composite's down a little, but, who does that? So, markets are all going no matter what. So I thought that was pretty intriguing. I did see the ruble was still at 83, 1.2 cents a piece. So, all the macro stuff looks pretty good today. And then I saw on Cardano transaction volume. No, this is a couple days old. I just never got to it. But, explodes to double that of Ethereum. And I don't know what is going on over there because I don't know what anybody's doing there.
It's all those, it's the cult is going to use it, right? So, I mean, look, more power to the people that have it, that love it, that believe in it, believe in him. Good for fucking you. But they're in their own little bubble, in their own little world, and they're over there trading and staking and doing whatever they do. I hope they all get filthy rich and, But
Cardano, what is their, they say they have a decentralized a DeFi ecosystem. What is in there?
I don't know. There was a swap. I know there was staking. I know transactions were taking withdrawals were taking 36 fucking hours. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, so I thought it was worth just kind of paying attention to this. But then all the price things say.
Oh, Chuck made a point about the fractal. Yeah, he's right. Go ahead. Sorry, Joe.
What did he say?
That this could be that second big run up that was in the fractal, and he's right. And if that's the case, then that if it maintains its path, then we are up for a big dump next week.
Yeah. Well.
But with everything that's going on in the world, I just don't know how it could maintain it. But it seems to be sitting on that path with those dips.
Yeah, I also saw that this thing in the Post, that was Washington Post, not New York Post, that Americans are sitting on 2.6 trillion in extra savings from pre-pandemic levels. So there's still a lot of cash, but that doesn't break down. I know that the less economically fortunate, those wallets are sort of going down. So I suspect this is a lot of PPP bailout money type people.
Sure.
But everybody's sitting on cash. So they're talking about, that is going to unleash this long delayed spending boom for travel, dining, and other experiences that have been on hold since lockdowns swept the country 2 years ago. So that's, that's cash that goes into crypto too. A big chunk of that ends up in crypto. So that's a good sign.
That's a very good sign. Although I will say that, and I actually think it's good for crypto, even what I'm about to say, and that is this. I think everyone's anxious and starting to do more things that they didn't do before. But I think also everybody's kind of waiting for the other fucking shoe to drop. And what's the next strain? What the hell's going to happen with Ukraine? I think we're all going to be living on edge anyway for a while. But hopefully it starts to slowly break out. And if nothing else, if people are worried about that and they don't want to spend it on going out or going on trips, they're gonna potentially deposit it in crypto and hope for some valuation increase.
Well, they're going to invest in things, I mean, they're going to maybe buy houses. I don't know if many of them are thinking about buying equities right now. I'd be a little nervous if I was just entering the equities market with no exposure.
Yep.
But I'm sure that everybody's talking, they're hearing everything about crypto. So they're probably going to be looking at things like that at this price point. But either way, if they go out, I mean, sure, it's going to keep the inflation thing going, but just spending money is huge. Yep. And, what was growth rate last year was 5.7%. This could really blow. I mean, my sort of feel is that we're heading into something similar to like the roaring 20s, where it's just going to be, or say the late 90s, where it's just going to be go, 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 go.
I hope you're right. Dude.
And that's sort of my gut feeling. But again, absent some kind of force majeure, major macro type event that we can't predict. So I thought that was a good sign. And something about Ethereum project start. Decent Labs is pondering a DAO. I don't really know these guys. They were talking about this at ETH Denver. Did you hear any more about that COVID outbreak at ETH Denver?
No, I just know it's pretty extensive. Everything I'm seeing on Twitter is a lot of folks got it. So, it is what it is. I mean, people from all over the world coming together, not masked.
Okay, so this is Miami.
What else could you expect, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is in Miami. We should go see these guys.
Which guys?
McCurley said Decent Labs, this Ethereum project accelerator. They're Miami based.
Yeah,
I've never even heard of them.
Awesome.
Let's see, beginning decentralized apps for other projects, including BRD, acquired by Coinbase in November, Rorschach, Frostbite, Portis, Celsius. Oh, that's interesting. And Sarcophagus. Sarcophagus is a dead man switch for crypto and digital assets built on Ethereum and Arrowweave decentralized storage solution. Sarcophagus users designate who will receive their digital assets in the event of death or incapacitation. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice name too, Sarcophagus. But it's like everyone's like, what the fuck? But yeah, he's also tied into let's see, Sarcophagus raised $5.5 million. Greenfield, Placeholder, Inflection, Lattice, Infinite, LD, Hinge, Blockchain, Coral, DeFi, Blockchain.com, Low, and Compound VC and Arweave. So it looks like these guys we'll have to look more at these guys and maybe go see them or get this guy on the show, this Mick Gurley guy. That's his last name. Mick Gurley, I think. Mick Curley, yeah. So that's promising. Now this was interesting. Oh yeah, so you always bring up all the political ad stuff and everything. So I found this one in Colorado, which is somebody who's running against Lauren Boebert. And, this is some kind of viral, basically says, don't watch this if you're eating. So I'm going to go ahead and just play it. It's not that long.
The show is DeFi Lunch, Joe. We can't hear anything.
Oh, so you can't hear it? Oh,
no. It doesn't share audio through a stream.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, fuck that. But anyhow, go look it up because
what's his name? Walker for Colorado.
Yeah. So but it's just a bunch of shit basically everywhere. Piles of shit coming down and screaming. It's just it's a fucking horrid commercial. But it's definitely getting some attention.
Awesome. And he's pro crypto. Another Coloradan that's pro-crypto. That's awesome.
Gay moderate who believes in small government, personal freedom, and human rights. And he's the 11th Democrat. So I guess there's 11 Democrats in the field challenging Boebert.
Nice.
So thought that would be interesting.
Well, that's a great way to stand out when you're running against 10 other people, man. That's
Yeah. Do you remember that there was an ad like 10 years ago, which was a bunch of little girls saying like, fuck you and stuff like that. And
oh, yeah. What was that?
I showed that to a few people, some professional, big ad guys that didn't like it at all because for whatever reason, I thought it was over the top, but I thought it was really cool, viral. Let me see if I can find that one. Yeah, girl, fuck you ad. It was like 10 years ago, I think. No, not the first one. No, these are all just songs. I'm probably not gonna be able to find it. But this has different, people have different feelings about that. I kind of like that it's provocative.
Yeah.
Now this is interesting. So we got the list of all the counter-corruption advisor to Congress, Paul Massaro, has posted a list showing the American lobbying firms that are serving Putin. So let's see if I can find the list of all of them so we can all see it. I'm in Firefox, so it's kind of hard sometimes. Let me see if it's this one will do it. Let's see if I can get that. Pull it up. But, the usual ones, I think, like, I saw Sidley in there and a bunch of people I've never heard of. Let's see if we get this to come up. Well, maybe I'll show it. But anyhow, go look this up on Raw Story. Counter-corruption advisor. It has all the names. For some reason, it's not letting me show them. Ooh. Somebody's watching.
The deep state is in your computer, Joe.
Yeah. And then this is a good article. Blockchain Associate Executive Director talking about crypto regulation roadmap. She chats about the executive order, their focus, and when a U.S. spot Bitcoin ETF could be approved. It's a great article. I recommend everybody read this one over in blockworks.co. And then what makes Bored Ape NFTs so desirable? I mean, I don't subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, so I can only get the first two paragraphs, but it's, kind of getting that what we talked about the other day. Why do people like this so much? So, to me, it kind of seems like the early days of Crypto Kitties, when those kitties ones were going for $250,000, $300,000, and now they're like, I don't know, microcents. But
yeah,
this is a good thing to kind of just read and understand if you have a Wall Street Journal subscription. And then this is the one I really liked, a new, what are they calling it? Super aggregator DEX, uniting dApps across multiple chains.
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, this is called, I think it's 4-bit space. Where is it? Yeah, this one. 4-bit space. So, looks like it's mainly on Avalanche, but then it can hit all the other ones, or at least this example. Smart order routing. This is what everybody's been trying to figure out for a while. And we talked about, what was that Define one? Router, I think it was called. It's trying to do it. A lot of other ones are, but this one actually looks pretty interesting. So I would recommend, check it out, 4bitspace.com.
Okay.
All about the Holy Grail, basically. I don't know where they are, if it's functioning, if it works, if it will work, but, this is a problem they're trying to tackle. And if they can tackle it, they're going to do very, very well.
Yeah.
And it's across the dexes. So that's a cool thing. And I think we already talked about the stock indexes and this and that. Yeah, so that's about all I got.
Beautiful. All right, man. Everybody have a great weekend. Love you guys. Thank you for listening, following, watching, and sharing. Please, if you can, give us a review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app. Follow us and subscribe on YouTube and click the little bell so you know when we have new ones up. If you have an idea for a show, a topic you want to discuss, comments on what we've talked about, you can leave us a voicemail on missiondefi.com. On any of the episodes you want to comment about, we'll get that and we may play it on the show. You can also DM me directly on Twitter at B05Crypto, B05Crypto. I'm happy to answer any questions you have or take a look at any projects you think would have value in the space. You can reach Joe on Twitter at Joe Cawley, the number 5. Although, it might be a couple of weeks before he gets back on Twitter.
Dude, I was in there yesterday trying to find the mention.
That's only because I gave you shit.
I couldn't find it.
You couldn't find the mention?
Are you sure it's in Twitter or it wasn't Discord?
No, I'm absolutely positive it was. Okay, I got to find this before we shut.
Because I haven't been in Discord in a few days either. So maybe that's my original Slacker.
Now I have to keep track of Joe's account on Twitter.
I'll throw you another point from the show, okay?
Thanks so much, Joe. I'm a rich man now.
Woo!
Are you the one that sent me that $1,500?
Yeah. So you're welcome.
That's nice of you, buddy.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you know me.
that.
I look out for my peeps.
I love it. It's just a nice lunchtime bonus. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Here it is. Oh no, that's not it. It was Dennis. who did it. I'm pretty sure, but that was another tweet he tagged me in. Here it is. Joe Collie 5. Please change your Twitter handle to Joe's Miso Paste or Joe Miso Soup Collie. Favorite quote. Well, it's real in my world. I gauge inflation by the weekly cost of miso paste at my local Whole Foods. Keep those prostate numbers up. That's Dennis, who we had on the show. You remember?
Oh
him,
yeah,
right?
I remember him.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, man. That's cool. I got to figure out. So I'm in. Well, we'll do this offline. Obviously, I don't want to show my Twitter ineptitude to everyone, but it's one of the things I got to start doing.
When you're in Twitter, on the left side, click on the little bell. That's your notifications, and then there'll be a wall of notifications, tags, mentions, follows, everything.
Yeah, see, that's what it says. It just says that there was a login to your account from a new device. There was a login.
Maybe you don't have notifications on. Go to your settings and see if you have notifications on.
Yeah, I'm such a dumb shit about this. Let me see here. Hold on. There's settings. Notifications. Filters and preferences. I guess preferences. Push notifications. Turn on push notifications. Oh, there you go. Allow. All right, I'm in business. Yeah, mentions and replies.
You know what? I'll put this link in the Telegram so you can get it. So you can go see what he said. You can comment on him. It's funny.
Thank you, sir. Was this from last year or was this recently?
No, it was the other day.
That's right.
My the 23rd. So 2 days ago. Feels like 6 months ago, but.
Well, I told everybody I'm going to start staying out of Telegram more and getting more into Discord and Twitter. And I'm trying to do it. There it is. Thanks.
Sure.
So I'll dig in. I promise everybody I'll be more active in Twitter. And I just don't like to, get into our rants and stuff with people as much as my esteemed colleague here.
Yeah, I will tell you on Twitter, I've had until the last week, I didn't do much on the politics front. In the last week, I've done more relative to Ukraine, but I've actually resisted for several months now with too much on the political front. So I have been taking a few digs at Trump for trying to extort Ukraine for military weapons. But other than that, not a ton.
It's just too easy to do that. So I'm just sort of like tired of doing that myself.
Well, you just get in this rut of bullshit. I did go after a guy yesterday, Ted Cruz, at that, whatever that fucking conservative festival they have every year with all these fucking crazy people. Yeah. Was touting Bitcoin and how important it is, decentralized, which you love to see. Well, some guy replied to that tweet saying, of course, Ted Cruz is he's obviously a Democrat. And he's talking about Ted Cruz being a piece of shit, which I concur. But then he goes on to say, of course, Ted Cruz wants to, something along the lines of Bitcoin is controlled by the CIA. And that's why Ted Cruz wants everyone to adopt Bitcoin. And I'm like, you're such a fucking putz. And so he posts this article saying, like, some drug running engineer pilot was connected to the CIA, had the last name of Nakamoto. His brother was the Nakamoto in California that was supposedly blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, just stop tweeting about this because you obviously don't get and have a fucking clue how Bitcoin works. I'm like, I would be investing in Bitcoin if the CIA announced that they developed it, because they can't control it. Thousands of fucking people have looked at the source code. Nobody fucking controls it. It's just like the level of ignorance of progressives is just so painful. It's so painful.
You think that guy's a progressive? He just sounds like a nut job.
No, I wouldn't looked at his wall. He's a fucking nut job progressive. He's just the alt left. Just as bad as alt right.
Notice this, everyone. We are equal opportunity bullies.
Exactly. Just a piece of shit. So I pounced on him a little bit yesterday, just trying to tell him what a fucking
I don't think the CIA would have Ted Cruz either. So
exactly. And it's just like, look, just before you post, like, what you're talking about, go fucking understand something. Just a smidgen. Just a fucking smidgen.
Yeah, see, I don't engage the cranks in anything. Not even. I mean, I think I'm up to 24 followers on Twitter, but
I wouldn't care if fucking Vladimir said he created Bitcoin because I know how it fucking works.
Well, yeah. The only way. I mean, look. Can you? Is it theoretical?
There is no
that you-
back door. You can't. Nobody can fucking
Oh
control.
no, I
it.
don't mean backdoor. I mean a 51% attack. Is that?
Well,
I mean,
sure, but then you've defeated the entire purpose of it. You've just collapsing the financial value of it. Once that happens, and that's like a mess. That's the only reason you would do it is for sabotage, right?
Yeah.
So that's the only hole is that
and
somebody
it's $1
wants
trillion.
Oh,
thing,
you've got to
you know?
spend a fucking shit ton of money to do it. Like
Because when you're buying it all up, the price is going to go up.
in order to capture all the mining, it's just fucking stupid.
Yeah, I think that's just typical conspiracy theory people. Everybody whether
Fucking
on the
CIA
extremes.
controls
See,
Bitcoin.
that's absurd. Yeah, I just think that's ridiculous. But just on my parting note is that I've done a lot of political science and international relations in my days, and everybody wants to think about the political spectrum as being linear, left and that's my right hand. Okay, left and right. In a straight line, extreme left, extreme right. But my thesis was always that it's not a line, it's a circle. And at the bottom of the circle is where extreme left and extreme right meet, because they're all anarchists at that point, or anti everything.
Right.
And you see all these paranoid conspiracy theories being espoused by the extremists on both sides. It's because that's where they are. Where you want to be is up here, in the center.
Yeah.
And or maybe here, or maybe
that's a really
here.
valid point. You know
Yeah.
why? Because you see like fucking nut job Glenn Greenwald, who's supposedly this progressive leftist fucking freedom loving journalist, who is essentially, a right-wing apologist, right? And they've looped all the way back around. That's a really valid analogy. I like that. And it happens on the other side as well, right? The right wing starts embracing some of these extreme left folks because they start espousing the same fucking bullshit that.
Well, why do you become extreme on either side? It's because you're angry about something. Somebody's like, something hasn't worked out for you. You want to blame someone. So here come the conspiracy theories.
Yep.
But anyhow, I got to go because I got to get ready
too,
for that
buddy.
one call.
Have a great day. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great
Appreciate
weekend,
you.
everyone.
Take care.
And be safe.
Have a good one, buddy.
Bye.